Well, the Federal Reserve cut another quarter basis points. Surprise, surprise. No, it really wasn't a surprise. But what was a surprise is what happened with repos. Thank you so much for watching Yankee Stacking. Now, I'm going to talk about something that I think is really, really important to everybody watching, especially precious metals stackers. But I don't want it to be too wonky. So I'm going to try my best to make it simple and more understandable, and to see why it's so important. And it's not the quarter point rate drop that the Fed implemented on Wednesday. That actually is not that surprising. People expected that. But what people didn't expect was what happened on Tuesday morning. The New York Fed launched what they're calling an overnight repo operation. So what's a repo? Well, I'm going to keep it really, really simple. Banks borrow regularly in markets to make sure their daily cash reserves don't go down below a required level by the Federal Reserve. So the Fed adds and removes liquidity to keep interest rates in line with their desired target, which is 2.25%. Okay, but we had a cash shortage on Tuesday. I mean, it was a real surprise. The repo rate surged to a high of 8.5%. That shocked everybody, okay? I mean, the benchmark funds rate is around 2.25. Like I said, that's the top end of the range that the central bank targets. But it shot up. And what was going on was that they were out of cash. There was a liquidity crunch that was going on, and the Fed had to inject a total of $53 billion on Tuesday. It was crazy. $53 billion injected. Give them the cash. They needed liquidity. That sounds a whole lot like 2008 to me. I remember the liquidity issues that we had back there over a decade ago, and it wasn't pretty. But okay, maybe they needed a little bit of a, but what happened was on Wednesday, today, the day I'm videoing this, they had to inject another $75 billion. They've dropped $128 billion in the course of 2 days, and it looked like the Fed was losing control. And it's crazy, because when does it stop? I mean, right now, I hear on Thursday, which this was recorded on Wednesday, on Thursday, they're going to inject some more. This is not good. They haven't done this since the Great Recession. And of course, the administration is coming out saying, oh, everything is fine. What do you mean there's no problem here? Oh, we just had to give a little cash. What's the big deal, right? And Powell, Fed Chairman Powell came out. He said, everything's under control. Don't worry. This is just an anomaly. There's a corporate tax filing September 15th. They just needed some cash. We haven't lost control. That is preposterous. The Fed losing control. I don't know if you guys remember Baghdad Bob back during the first Gulf War. He was a Saddam Hussein hack, a spokesman who would get out there and take the microphone and say, oh, nothing is wrong, everything is fine, everything is awesome, oh, there are no American troops anywhere near us. And while he was talking, you would actually hear the bombs going off and rapid fire, small arms fire, and the tanks were literally rolling into Baghdad, taking over the palace. And there's Baghdad Bob. I forget his name, but he was there at the microphone. There's nothing going on. Everything is fine. It's lies, I tell you. The Americans are nowhere near. We're going to beat them back. It's crazy. Well, that is what's going on in the media. The financial spokesman for Trump, the Federal Reserve, all the talking heads in the media, they're all saying this is an anomaly. Don't worry about the injection of money into the money markets, in the repo markets. The money markets are fine. You don't need to worry about it. It's something to do with some stupid little anomaly with the tax filings that need to happen on September 15th. No big deal whatsoever. No big deal. This could be the beginning of something huge. It's not good when you have to gin the economy with cash. And here's something that the chief fixed income strategist at Janney Montgomery Scott said. His name is Guy Labast. And I quote, "The issue that worries me more is when financial rates spike like this. Unpredictable events start to come up. Random things that tend to precipitate financial crisis." So this was not good. But it's really not the first time that the Fed has had to step in recently. Let me just show you a couple Yankee charts here. I'm going to start with this chart right here. This goes back to the Great Recession right here. And you can see how the Federal Reserve stepped in with quantitative easing. That's basically printing money, okay? Jacking up our debt and taking on what was toxic assets at the time. So we increased our money supply once, twice, and three times once, twice, and three times. Okay, so you can see these quantitative easing programs, and then nothing. We actually started tightening, okay, at the end of 2018. That's when the market started to have conniptions, and it stopped. In fact, I look back on my January prediction video, which I'll stick at the end of this video. And one of the things that I had predicted was that they were going to stop cutting rates. They were going to stop easing. And sure enough, they did. So this right here at the beginning of this month, September, look what happened. I'm going to zoom in on that piece. There's the end of QE3. There's the tightening. And right here, the Fed starts buying back bonds, treasury bonds. $8 billion, $6 billion, total of $14 billion. Okay, that's not a whole lot, is it? No, but it's a complete reversal. We're talking $14 billion worth of bond purchases after 250 straight weeks without buying anything. See, the Fed has to make a decision between allowing the destruction of the dollar or allowing the market to bring interest rates where it needs to be for an economy that's in this much debt. Of course, when that happens, everything goes to hell in a handbasket. And that is the challenge. That is the struggle. They've tried to play this carefully orchestrated game, and they're failing. And I'm telling you right now, the infusion of money into the repo markets is a sign that they're losing control. You know, we need higher interest rates. As painful as that's going to be, if we don't get higher interest rates, we're going to have a debt crisis, a sovereign debt crisis. We're going to watch as our fiat dollar explodes and inflation goes through the roof. I'm convinced of it. But here's something else I'm convinced of. I'm convinced that the Federal Reserve is going to do exactly what they did last time. They're going to cut down to zero. They're going to initiate a formal QE 4, 5, or whatever it is. I think they've already started, but they're going to have to inject more than what they're doing now. They're going to have to buy more bonds. And maybe even go negative on interest rates, which is crazy, but it's actually what Trump wants. He actually tweeted that out recently. Go negative. Are you kidding me? What does this all mean? Especially for us silver and gold precious metal stackers. Well, I think the bubble is starting to pop. Or at least the air's coming out of the bubble, maybe not popping all at once. So let me wrap this up right now with some good news, okay? I looked again at my prediction video from January, and I made some interesting predictions around the price of silver and gold by the end of the year. Well, we're another quarter off, so I've got some time here, but I did predict that silver would be over $19 and gold would be over $1,400. Well, that was kind of fun. And again, I probably should have said this at the beginning. This was just for fun. I'm not a financial analyst. Don't take my advice. This is just for fun. Seek some professional advice if you want some financial direction. But I did want to say that, this is a great time to be continuing to stack gold and silver. Like I said, gold and silver. Keep stacking this stuff, guys, because I believe we are getting really close to watching some unprecedented and historic moves in both gold, silver, and stock and bond prices. So keep your eyes peeled, stack on, prep on. It's going to be fun. Thank you so much for watching Yankee Stacking. Please, in the comments, tell me if you want to hear more of these types of videos. If this helps you, if this drives you nuts, if you're like, Yankee, can you just show us some pretty silver? Bring out, the Noah's Ark round, maybe show us that dragon again, that double dragon. Ooh, how pretty is that? Queen's Beasts, yeah, they're also awesome to show. If you want to see silver, if you want to see more gold, let me know. I'm going to be buying some more silver. I have some unboxings and some envelopes open up real soon. But let me know if you want to hear more about this type of thing, this type of content. Thanks again. Really appreciate it. And I hope your day is A-OK.